Welcome back to Real Talk, the podcast where we get honest about health, what's really happening in your body, and how to take control in the real world. I'm your host, Dr. Daniel Sproul, integrative health practitioner and professor, and today's episode is one almost every parent can relate to, and that is back to school season. Gerardo is back from his ever busy schedule. Welcome back, Gerardo. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me back. It's just, I'm glad to be back, man. Been busy these past couple weeks with summer, with the kids, side jobs. Just glad to be back.
How are you enjoying this hot weather?
It sucks. I don't know how I do it. You had asked me one of the hot days, like, how do you do it? By the grace of God and the Holy Spirit helping me because it gets brutal out there. The humidity, it's something else.
Just going for a walk with the dog, even a half a mile or anything, I'm like, this totally sucks. Like, I take a shower, go for a walk, and I'm soaked. It felt like I was at the gym in the sauna. It's even worse. Then I get home and thinking, man, I got to take another shower. And then I think, how are you doing this for 10, 12 hours at a time?
Exactly. Yeah. There are days when I get home and let me just have dinner and I'm gonna take a shower. And it's once I take a cold, refreshing shower, I still think my body takes time for it to bounce back to normal temperature inside the house. And then just to think about it, I gotta do it all over again the next day.
Yeah. I think about that like when I go to the gym and go in the sauna and stuff and get home and for an hour you're still sweating. So I just imagine like you're walking nonstop, wearing a uniform, plus carrying stuff, plus having to go in and out of different climates and just sweat. And I don't know how you do it, man. I give you a lot of credit.
Thank you. I am excited though for this upcoming week in the area that we're in now. I think the next week in the 70s, maybe.
You're talking, yeah, temperature wise.
Yeah, temperature wise, it's gonna be in the 70s, and that's my favorite weather. The cold weather is my favorite, but I prefer the winter over the summer.
That's because you're hot racing that mail truck.
Yeah, yeah, that is true.
Doing those donuts, you're the videos I see on TikTok and stuff.
I'd
Yeah.
rather not answer. I
Okay.
don't want to get in trouble.
Welcome back, Latoya.
Thank you.
So we all know what happens. Kids go back to school, they're exposed to new classmates, new environments, and suddenly the sniffles, sore throats, stomach bugs make their way into the house. And let's be honest, it's not just the kids who get sick. Parents and even older family members often pick up those same germs. I'm usually one of them, but I'm the last one usually to get sick, but it
Yeah.
sucks.
And that's how it is, man. Let's talk about immune foundation, how to strengthen resilience both for kids and adults.
Yes, and as always, the general reminder, this podcast for educational purposes only. We do not diagnose, treat, or cure any disease, and nothing here replaces medical advice. Always check with your healthcare provider before making any changes for yourself or your kids. So let's get into it. When back to season arrives, we think about schedules, sports, academics, but most families don't prepare for the sudden increase in germ exposure. Classrooms, school buses, cafeterias, and after-school activities are all prime environments for the spread of viruses and bacteria. Kids are in close contact all day, every day, sharing desks, supplies, sports equipment, and playgrounds. Even with good hygiene habits, though, it's nearly impossible to avoid exposure.
And honestly, for me, I have 3 boys, and it's a bittersweet feeling when the kids go back to school. I know they're going to do great. I know they're taken care of, but the other kids on the other side, how well are they being taken care of? Most of the kids get sick from one kid being in the classroom and they just start spreading in class like wildfire. That one kid, it could be my kid, will bring it home and then it's a domino effect. One goes down, gets better, the next one gets sick, and then so on till it hits me. If I'm lucky, I won't get sick, but I might get like the minor pains and aches. It's just trying to be on top of it, take care of them, feed them good food, keep them on their vitamins just as well as we all should be.
Yeah, it's one of those things, too. And it's not always like us taking care of our kids. It's these parents, a lot of them do not care if the kids are sick and they just don't want to deal with them at home. It could be, yeah, they have a job and they have nobody to watch their kid, or they just don't have a job and they don't want to be with their kid and their kid's sick with fever and they drop them off at the school and hurry up, run out and then wait for the school to call and they don't answer their phones. I hear those stories all the time. And the kid's sick in school, throwing up, a high fever, all this stuff. And I was like, how could parents let their kids go to school like that? My kid's even a little sick. It's always, nope, you're going to stay home because you're not going to get other people sick. But
Absolutely.
I don't
that's
get it.
what
It's
we
just
think.
ignorant parents out there,
Yeah.
too.
And no, and it's not even just for school, but it's also for church.
Yeah.
The boys go to daycare. The smallest one goes to the little daycare area. But even though, or I should say, even then, if one of them is sick, if I'm sick, I'm not going to go to church just because I want to get the word in. I'll watch it on TV, but if I'm well and all my family's, yeah, we're all going together.
Yeah, I just don't know, like, what common sense does it make your kid sick? I don't know, I just feel bad for the kid. They don't feel good, they need to sleep, they need to be at home, and it's, who cares? Let's send the kid to school. I don't get it, man.
And then right now, the way that the boys are right now, the minute they get home from school, they get dressed to a different outfit, they get washed up, they wash their hands. Just because I know that my kids are not, maybe Noah, the oldest one, he's somewhat of a germ freak. He rather wash his hands all the time. But Lucas, the middle one, he's in middle school, so I don't, or elementary, so he's not too concerned about washing his hands at the moment. But still, even then, it's they're grabbing things, they're touching things, and germs go pretty quickly. Kids sneezes in their hands, they're in the playground, they're touching the monkey bars. The next kid is gonna come right behind them, and it's get whatever infection or get whatever symptom the kid previous has.
Oh, yeah, because you think how many little kids and stuff go even us as adults, right? It's you touch something, you don't think about it, you chew your nails, for example,
Ugh.
or you notice something in your eye and you don't think about, "Hey, I just shook this guy's hand and he's sick, and now I'm just put my finger in my eye because I have something in my eye." You just don't think about it, so it's very easy to get sick, so that's why you gotta build up that immune system. And I don't think a lot of people I think a lot of people know they have to build up their immune system, they just don't do it.
It's such an easy thing to do, though.
And it's one of those things where we gotta say that just when you're sick, you can't take vitamin C just when you're sick. You have to build up your immunity, and you need to do that over time. So same like during the pandemic, the one of the big things was D3K2, high amount of vitamin C, high amount of zinc, and that helped people. But a lot of people we talk to, it's, "Did you take vitamin C?" "Oh, I took it once or twice. It didn't do anything." It's not going to. It takes time, just like pills take time. Just like you take blood pressure medication, you don't take one pill and your blood pressure is lower. It takes months. So same thing. It's like you have to take supplements to build up your immunity, but same with your nutrition. So it's education, and it's
Mm,
just hopefully people listen at
yeah,
some point.
and luckily for me, I haven't had a cold. I might have had, like, sniffles here and there, but I haven't gotten, like, a full cold where I'm out for several days. I am a big sissy when it comes to being sick or under the weather. I just wanna be in bed all day. I don't wanna do nothing. Everything hurts. I feel like I'm really dying. I don't know how moms do it out there where they're sick and they're still putting on doing everything from house chores to dinner, everything. I don't know how they do it. In my hand, I'm a big baby when it comes to colds, but luckily, being on my supplements, being on the vitamin C, zinc, the D3K2, as well with the multi, it's just I've been better.
It takes time. But yeah, so it's what we call the family circle illness. Like we said, one person gets sick, passes it on, and before you know it, the household spends week passing the same bug back and forth. Productivity drops, school days are missed, work schedules get thrown off, and stress levels rise. And what does that do? It only weakens immunity even further. So the bigger point, like we're saying, immunity is not just about avoiding the germs because that's impossible, especially with kids, right? It's about resilience. A strong immune system doesn't guarantee you'll never catch something, but it means your body can mount an effective response, recover faster, and reduce severity of symptoms like you're seeing with yourself. That's the mindset we need to be going for into this school year. Not trying to dodge every exposure, but preparing our bodies to handle it well. And that's where you were saying, like sniffles and stuff, especially during these seasons, that has a lot to do with allergies versus a cold. And I think a lot of people, as soon as they're sneezing or their nose is running, they automatically assume they have a cold. But a
Yeah.
lot of times those are allergy symptoms and they overlap. But you notice when you have a cold too, because I always think, "Oh, I don't feel that good today," or whatever day it is. And then when you're actually sick, then you're like, "Oh man, this really sucks."
Yep.
Like you don't think about it until it happens to you. Then you're like, "Man, I did feel good like these last couple weeks and I thought I didn't." And then feeling like this, you feel sick. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't get sick often. And I used to get sick all the time. And one of the things was when I did my organic acid test, my vitamin C levels were like 0. And I was taking like 500 milligrams or so a day. And it took my body up to 4 grams a day to get my levels just normal. While other people's, you could do organic acid test and maybe you just get enough vitamin C from your food and you're fine. But for me, my body doesn't absorb it. So I need a lot. But again, you don't know until you test.
Yep. And then for me, it's one of those things, it's like, I know when I'm sick or it's just a seasonal. And I think right now, I myself haven't gotten an allergy test and to see what exactly I am allergic to. but I gotta every time I cut the grass and it's just me by myself cutting it, the next day is when I get all the symptoms. So I told my wife, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to fresh cut grass or just the pollen that comes off the grass. So it's not fun. It sucks.
Here's this. Don't panic. You're Hispanic.
That is
Right?
true.
So calm down.
And it's the other one is don't be self conchas, like the concha donuts.
Yeah.
That's where foundational nutrition, lifestyle, and targeted supplementation comes into play. We can't stop the germs from coming into the door, but we can strengthen how our bodies deal with them.
Yeah, for sure. What we need to do now is break down 4 foundational supplements that can make a real difference for both kids and adults. And we touched on them. Let's start with vitamin D3, right? This is very common. We harp on a lot of people for this one. This is more than a bone nutrient, it's an immune regulator. It helps immune cells recognize invaders and respond appropriately. And this is done without going into overdrive. The problem is most kids and adults are deficient, especially when we transition from summer into fall to winter when there's less sunlight. And just in general sunlight, summer people are low regardless. For kids, the typical range is 600 to 1000 IU daily depending on their size and age. For adults, this is usually between 2 to 5000 IU daily. I know one we always say is the pure brand, and that's 4000 IU, and that's usually perfect. But again, remember it takes approximately 6 months for your levels to get optimal. So it's not you take it one night and your levels are high. So remember that. So when you're taking it for 30 days and you do your blood work and it's still not adequate levels, it still takes time. But ideally, again, you should confirm with a blood test. And then we also recommend K2, and here's why K2 matters. When you supplement with D3, calcium gets absorbed more efficiently with K2. K2 ensures that calcium goes into the bones, not into the arteries or soft tissues. You don't need calcification in the arteries. So D3 and K2 should always be paired. Geraldo, if you wouldn't mind talking about zinc and vitamin C.
Definitely. Zinc is a spark plug for immune cells. It literally helps them develop and function. Without enough zinc, the body struggles to produce white cells that fight off infections. For kids, 5 to 10 milligrams daily is usually safe. For adults, 15 to 30 milligrams daily is for common range. Just remember to take with food because zinc on an empty stomach can cause nausea. I think there's a lot of people out there that actually take supplements without knowing what they're taking. They'll eat them on an empty stomach and then they feel like crap.
Yeah. I'm one of those, especially if I take them like in the morning, I will have more stomach symptoms or just that stomach pain. Not that you have to go bathroom or anything. It's just, man, somebody kicked me in the stomach. So that's how I know, man, I took it on an empty stomach. But zinc for me, D3, I could take those on empty stomach, no issues whatsoever. Vitamin C, same thing on empty stomach, no issues. Multivitamin, that's another story. That'll make me feel like I just got done like doing jujitsu.
Yeah. Some people will
So-
feel sluggish, but that's because they're not eating enough to get all those supplements in the correct area where they're supposed to be going.
Yeah.
Let me just get back into this. For vitamin C, it strengthens physical barriers like the lining of your nose and throat. Those barriers are the front line of the defense against germs. Vitamin C also helps reduce oxidative stress during an infection. Kids typically benefit from 250 to 500 milligrams daily, while adults do well with 500 to 1,000 milligrams. Ideally, split into 2 small doses. Some adults need 2 or 4 grams, all depends on how your body absorbs it.
Yeah, for sure. I think most dosages on, especially vitamin C, is around like 500. It depends if you get tablets and stuff. But I still tell like adults all the time, like I still recommend, because vitamin C is not going to hurt you. You overdo it, vitamin C, but I always recommend 1 and 2 grams regardless. Just take it. It's going to build up your immunity. And then finally, the one we always talk about too, if you're even going to take any, is a multivitamin. So this isn't about high doses of one nutrient, right? It's about filling those gaps. In most diets, especially with kids who are picky eaters, that's me. I don't know how your kids are pretty good on eating.
Yeah,
Right?
they
They eat
eat.
everything.
Noah, the oldest, he's somewhat picky. Lucas, the one that you know the most, that man eats anything. That man will try it all. And then Gabe, he's just happy with his vegetables and he's very picky. Barely will go to McDonald's and he's not one to scarf down the nuggets. That man would rather have chop up tomatoes and cucumbers with salt.
Usually, picky eaters don't provide the full range of vitamins and minerals for their immune system. It's what their immune system needs, that full range. And a lot of times we're not getting it. And that's where a quality multivitamin ensures you're not missing key cofactors that make the whole immune system work. For kids, choose one with active B vitamins and no artificial dyes. For adults, look for a comprehensive formula that covers minerals, antioxidants, and bioavailable forms of nutrients. That's why, regardless, I always say methylated vitamins because a lot of us do have the MTHFR gene, some kind of DNA damage out there. So that's why I always go with the methylated version. Nothing cheap. Do not buy it at your normal grocery store. Reach out to us if you want a high quality vitamin. We could point you in the right direction on what you actually need, especially when it comes to these basic foundational ones. We kind of have packages put together. So remember, these 4 supplements are not meant to be emergency fixes. They're about daily steady support. When your exposure happens, your body's already primed to handle it. We want to get you where you need to be. And always remember, supplements are key, but they are not the full picture. 3 lifestyle pillars often determine whether your immune system can fight off what you're exposed to are sleep. Kids need 9 to 11 hours of sleep. Adults often need 7 and 9, but push through less and less. Sleep is when immune cells reset. Another thing, Geraldo knows this well, is hydration. Mucous membranes rely on adequate hydration to trap and flush germs. Kids especially forget to drink water.
Absolutely.
Then, that big one that we do is nutrition. Sugar weakens immune response. Focus on protein, colorful vegetables, and healthy fats. This is one that it's like a slap in the face to me because I do love candy.
I'm the same way. I cannot go without a day without having a piece of candy.
No,
And sorry.
yeah, especially like after I eat a meal and stuff. A lot of times I just want something like a Jolly Rancher. I like hard candy. So like a Jolly Rancher or something like that. Just one, or sometimes just a sip of coffee after a meal or something. I don't know.
And that's when I do it the most after I have a meal, just because I know it's like, all right, I'm not eating it on an empty stomach. It's not the first thing I'm eating in the morning. I already have food in my system. It's not going to spike up my blood sugar. So I'm safe eating this candy right now.
Yeah. What kind of candy do you like?
My ultimate top tier chocolate would have to be the Hershey Symphony. I believe it has almond in it and toffee. And then the second one would be the Hue chocolate, any flavor of the dark chocolate.
Me? I'm not chocolate. Oh, you said me.
Oh,
No. All right. But so now going back to sleep stuff, how do your kids sleep?
During summer breaks, the latest will probably be 11:30. That was the latest. But now getting them back into the school mode, it wasn't as tough as we expected just because the kids are getting older. I started waking them up a little earlier as the week was coming to them starting school. So they were all right going to bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock. But they were sometimes pushing it, fighting it. But after a while, after the first couple days of school, their body itself got used to it. I feel like they need their rest as much as they can. So if they could do it, anybody can.
Yeah. How do you get when you're run down and you're like you're working a lot, doing a lot of walking and stuff? So what do you do when you start to feel sick, knowing that, man, tomorrow it's going to be 94 degrees, the humidity 72%, and you still have to put on a uniform and still have to carry this bag and do all this long walking? How do you, like mentally, how do you deal with that?
Mentally, it's just I pray a lot. But I like to have myself heavy meals. I like to have the proper hydration with my electrolytes. I try not to think about it just because if I'm overthinking about it, I know it's gonna eat at me, and then the next day arrives, finding out that it's gonna be really hot, that it's gonna be super humid. Let me just fight through it and get through the day. But oh no, it's tough. It's tough. So definitely get your rest as much as you can.
Yeah, and it's hard because we talked, a lot of people don't sleep well. The problem, I think, a lot of us do is peeing at nighttime. It's a habit. And a lot of people think it's for men, oh, it's my prostate, it's this, because that's what a medical doctor would say. But a lot of times it's just habit. I tell different people is stop drinking water. What's very hard for me is I'll be up all night. I'll go bathroom 3 times at nighttime because around like 8, 9 p.m., I'm so thirsty. And it's, you know what? I'll deal with it. But there's other times where I know if I stop drinking around like 6 or 7 o'clock, I'm fine all night. But it's one of those things, it's habit. You get used to, hey, walking around with the water bottle in your hand, having a sip when you're not even thirsty. But then you also get, hey, you know what? I've been out all day. I didn't really drink anything. It's 8 o'clock at night. Now I'm going to drink a lot of water. You drink tea, whatever. Now you're up all night from the caffeine, or you just up all night going to the bathroom. And I just tell people, first thing, don't get on medication. First thing you need to do is try to break that habit. Try for 2 weeks at least and not having anything to drink after 6 p.m., maybe 7 p.m. Most people, it's around 6. Stop having stuff around 6 p.m. and see if you're waking up 3 times a night, now you're only waking up one, you know you're going in the right direction.
Would you recommend anybody to take or not take, but add Celtic salt? If it's just like a sip at night, add a couple little granules of salt in their water for it to stay in the system longer, or try to avoid the Celtic salt at night?
No, I don't think it really matters. It's just how much you're drinking at that time and what time's at night. Is that 8 o'clock? Is it 10 o'clock? It won't matter if it's just a sip here and there, but yeah, if you're drinking what's a water bottle size here? 33
Dude.
ounces of water at 8 p.m.
Oh, no, yeah, you're gonna be going a lot.
Yeah. And a lot of times you don't break that seal until you drink that whole amount.
For me, rather it's the smallest one, Gabe, he's 4. Like last night, he fell off the bed. He fell off the bed, he cried, so I went, I think it was around 4 o'clock, 4:30. I just picked him up, put him back in his bed, and I'm already up. I might as well go to the bathroom real quick before I go back to bed. And I don't know. I told the wife that I need about like 10 hours of sleep every day. If I could get that, I think I would be a lot better off
Yeah.
around people.
But it's one of those things, then if you oversleep, then you feel so tired all
Oh,
day.
absolutely. Yep.
Like for me, if I wake up, say I didn't sleep well, but I wake up at say 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and it's early and I don't need to be up till say 7, that if I woke up at 5, sometimes you wake up and you're wide awake. And then you're like, I'm just going to go sleep for an hour. Then you go sleep for an hour and now you wake up and you're so tired or you have a headache or you just don't feel well. It's like, I
Those
should have
suck.
just woke up when I got up, just get out of bed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what they say you're supposed to do. You wake up at 5, 6 in the morning and you're not supposed to be up, but you wake up and you're fully energetic, just get out of bed.
Yeah, but then we as human beings, we want to get more rest. So it's, you know what?
Yeah.
7 hours wasn't enough. I could squeeze in another hour. But for me, I haven't been able to take naps lately, but I love taking naps. And I could take, as long as I take a 20, 30-minute nap, I'm good. I could bounce back. I know the wife, if she takes a 2-minute nap, she won't be able to go to sleep right away at night.
Yeah, that's how same. But for me, if I take a nap, usually majority of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, people with migraines know this. If you could be fine with no migraine, you take a nap for 15 minutes, you have a severe migraine. And it's just very common for migraine sufferers. I imagine it has something to do with lack of oxygen, but I don't know. It's a horrible side effect for those with migraines, so I understand. But one thing that's often overlooked is when kids bring germs home, adults can't catch the same cold. They often get hit a lot harder. Why? Is it because we're so old? I don't know.
That's not it.
I think it's adults carry more stress, have more nutrient deficiencies. Another one would be inflammation. Another one would be inflammation and pre-existing conditions, right? Like allergies or gut issues. This makes the immune system less flexible. This is why adults often end up longer recovery times than kids. Child might bounce back in 2 days while parent may be sick for a week. I would say that's probably one of the most common is at least a week or 2 weeks, most adults, once you get hit with it. You could be fine in 2 days, but your body still feels tired and drained for about 2 weeks.
But do you notice this though? Yeah, my oldest, Noah, that man could get sick for 1 day and it's like a 24-hour thing.
That's good.
Then the next day, the middle one will get it, Lucas, and then he'll be off for a couple days. And then it's Gabe, the smallest one, and then he'll be the same. But Noah, for some reason, I don't know what he does. I don't know what special. I don't know if it's just him being a picky eater. I don't know what it is, but that man will be. He could puke in the morning, sleep it all day, and the next day he bounces back like nothing. But if you actually see kids bounce back easier, the same way for those who drink alcohol, the younger you are, you don't get as bad of like hangovers. But the older you get, you almost stay in that recovery stage of a hangover for 3, 4 days just because your body cannot bounce back. I
Well,
don't know.
why do you think that is? Like just you learning this whole process, why do you think an adult from a kid, right? And just think on the gut side, from a kid perspective, they're not exposed as we are exposed over the years, heavy metals, all those things. Like, what do you think plays a big role as you over a course of say 30 years?
Stress.
Stress. What else?
Tiredness, the fatigue, letting yourself go because we mainly focus more on the kids than ourselves.
Yeah, and it's what we're exposed to. We're the ones trying a new shampoo. We're the ones eating all this garbage stuff. We're the ones doing this. And a lot of times, and I think this is for most people, unless you watch the news a lot, but for most people, you want your kids to be healthier than you are. Oh, no, you're not going to eat that. No, you're not going to eat that while we still eat it. Or we say, oh, yeah, I don't drink, but how many parents drink tons of alcohol? And oh, yeah, kids, you can't have any, right? And or same, okay, the parents are eating McDonald's all the time because they're at work. And then at nighttime, they don't give the kids McDonald's. So I think it has a lot to do with, obviously, we see in these lab results, gut bacteria, heavy metal exposures, the times we were raised in. We were raised into lead paint in walls,
Gosh.
asbestos. Sometimes they say we have better immunity when it comes to a lot of that stuff than current generations. But the other side too is we have a lot of these heavy metals in our systems that we need to get out. And then too, once you get this out, just like when you build up your immunity, you don't get sick as often. And it has a lot to do with that.
You know what it is? The difference between us and the newer generation, it's being Flintstone vitamins are still kicking butt inside of our bodies. They're still going hard.
Did you have Flintstones?
Of course, yeah, man.
I I
Yeah.
I used to eat I ate them like candy.
No,
I was like, wherever I could find them, I'd get them and chew 5, 6, 10.
who who didn't? It's just because for us they were yes, they were vitamins, but we didn't see them as vitamins. We saw them as something that was sugary
Yeah.
with a crunch. So yes, of course we ate them.
It was like eating flavored chalk.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
But yeah, but that's why adults should not skip their own supplementation. D3K2, 2,000 to 5,000 IUs. Zinc, 15 to 30 milligrams. Vitamin C, 500 to 1,000 milligrams. And multivitamin daily. And another thing to touch on, like during the pandemic or if you are sick, common protocol I use for me and my family is D3K2. A lot of times that'll be maybe like 4,000 IU twice a day. Zinc, 15 milligrams or 30 milligrams twice a day. And vitamin C, take up 2 to 4 grams a day. And a lot of times, like through the pandemic, getting the virus out there, that helped me and my family and stuff bounce back like right away. And even we have family members that did have shingles. And one of the things a family member was bedridden for 6 months. And then he was on all these medications and we found out about it. I sent a whole bunch of supplements over. He did the same, right? About 8 to 10,000 IU vitamin D3, 60 milligrams of zinc, and about 4 grams of vitamin C. And again, he was bedridden for months because of shingles and the pain with hip and all that. And then after about a week of our supplement regimen, he was out of bed and back to work. Big difference, man.
Absolutely. And those 4 supplements, that to me is like a powerhouse that everybody should have. Now, these are not to cure symptoms the day of, these are just for a preventative maintenance. You brought up shingles. My wife had shingles this past weekend, or not this past weekend, but maybe 2 weekends ago now. She was given regular an antiviral medication, but we also myself and you we started recommending her doing the D3, the K2, the zinc, the vitamin C, and the multi. Me personally, I've never dealt with shingles or never knew anybody other than my mom, but I was never close to see what she was doing, what she was taking. But I'd say once the first signs of them to now, maybe under 10 days. So right now it's just like the marks on her body, but they're getting better. I'm curious if it wasn't for the supplements that we got her on, would she still be having symptoms of the shingles? Would they still be lingering around now? I feel like she's just about done with them. It's just them kind of scabbing over now and just falling out.
Yeah, it goes again based on your immune system. And that's where it goes. Okay, an adult with a bad immunity maybe get a cold, or say they get shingles and they have shingles for 2 months. Then you talk to somebody else that's really good immunity, they had shingles for 24 hours. Like during the pandemic, how many people got the virus and 24 hours or 8 hours later, they're like, oh, I feel fine now. And they're like, it was nothing to them. And then other people, weeks and weeks. And now we have people with like the long version and stuff. But is it because your immunity? Is it because of your stomach bacteria? Is it because of your heavy metals? You don't know. Don't guess, test.
Just bringing up the whole vitamins for my parents, my mom, I brought up the Flintstones vitamins. We would get them all the time. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like I don't think I ever saw her taking any supplements herself. or my dad. It's just growing up that way. I know they were always caring for all of us, but they never took care of themselves. So this is why now how we are with our kids, it's like we're taking care of ourselves along with them as well, because we both want longevity for ourselves and our kids.
Yeah, I wish my parents had the knowledge, and that's why I don't fault anybody, right? Because it's all knowledge. But there's a lot of free knowledge out there to get. How exciting would it be to be like your kid now, growing up? One, if they work out, or two is knowing, hey, I got to focus on my nutrition. I got to take supplements. I got to do this. Think of that as kids now. If we knew what we knew now back then, like they always say, right? As we get older, they're like, oh, what would your 20-year-old self say to, yourself now? What would you say? I would say the big focus is on supplementation and stuff. I don't know. It's a different world because our food's garbage.
For myself, it's like I have my three boys implementing everything that I've learned and giving it to them, and hopefully they take it and do even more greater things than I ever did. I'm curious to see them get up, get older. I know I could wait because I don't want that to be anytime soon, but when they get older and they're still on the same regimen that I have them on, how are they going to be? Are they gonna feel healthier? They will be healthier on the long run, but I can't wait to see that. To
Yeah.
see if it's, "Hey, dad, thanks for helping me out when I was younger. Thanks." Or, "Hey, dad, you got me on the strict diet." They can eat whatever they want. I'm not shying away from anything they wanna try, but as long as they're taking their supplements, as long as they're doing right by us, I'm okay.
One thing we talked about supplements and lifestyle, but here's the reality. Not everyone needs the same amount of vitamin D, zinc, or vitamin C, like we were saying. Our needs are varied based on genetics, diet, absorption, and even our stress levels. That's where functional lab testing comes in.
One of the biggest mistakes families make is guessing. But without testing, you don't know if your child is actually low in vitamin D. Even a small gap can make the immune system less.
For example, we often run blood work or at home lab tests to check for vitamin D levels. It's amazing how many adults, right, even in sunny climates, are low.
Me, I'm a mailman. I work outside all day, and yet I was still low.
Yeah, if somebody has a level of, say, 20, they might need a much higher dose to reach a healthy range. But without the data, you're just guessing. And you'll just hear, oh, just take 1,000 IU, or you have a small amount of vitamin D in your multivitamin, you're fine. I hear that all the time, and I don't know, that's where I say, man, just so much false information out there.
Or when the medical group wants to give you a vitamin D supplement of 50,000 IUs every Sunday,
Yeah,
nah.
don't do that either. It'll damage a lot of different functions in your body. Do not take those high dosages. But there are more advanced functional tests out there that do go beyond blood. We can look at things like organic acid tests in urine, which shows how well your body is using nutrients like B vitamins. And we also have stool testing. This can reveal if gut imbalances are limiting nutrient absorption. Get a lot of that from organic acid tests too. And then comprehensive micronutrient panels can tell us exactly where the gaps are. But again, this is the well-rounded test, the organic acid test, because we could see a lot of these gaps in that organic acid test where you don't have to do multiple panels, but the option is out there. So this type of testing is valuable because it lets us personalize recommendations. Again, instead of saying everyone should take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, like I was talking about earlier, we can look at your unique profile and decide whether you need more, you need less, or you need to pair with another nutrient. It's precision health instead of trial and error. And that's what I tell people all the time. I say foundational. I tell people foundational, 4,000 IU vitamin D3, foundational, 15 milligrams, 30 milligrams of zinc, foundational vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams. But it's one of those things. Again, I run so many tests that when we do the organic acid test, we'll come back and see, okay, the client of ours, she was a nurse and she didn't take vitamin C and her vitamin C levels are great. And then other people like mine, I could take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C and I'm at 0. So unless I get that 4 grams, and you just don't know until you test. So
Yeah,
don't
that's
guess.
right. And that makes a lot of sense. I've definitely just grabbed just a random bottle from vitamins at the store, thinking like this should help. But then I never really knew if I actually needed them or just I was just wasting my money. And that's when the testing comes in. And for kids, it seems even harder for myself because I'm going to the supplement store that I go to and I'll grab like the highest quality one, but I don't know if it's the best quality for them. And quite frankly, you don't want to overload them, but you also don't want to miss something important.
Exactly. And that's, again, that testing takes out the guesswork. It shows you where your strengths and weaknesses are, and it helps you make smarter, safer choices. Again, people sometimes like to see numbers. I'm a numbers person, and same like food sensitivity testing. You were just guessing, then you saw the test. You're like, oh, now I know. That's where I think it's valuable. It's okay. How much do people spend on supplements over a course of a year? And then I run tests and think, what were you taking? Why were you taking that? Oh, I saw it in a video. It's like you didn't need that actually caused these issues. So that's why I say, you know what? A lot of people don't know functional labs exist, but they do. That's why I tell people all the time, visit the website, feel free to reach out, ask questions. That's what we're here for. And one of us will answer your question and get you on the right path. There's certain things you do need, certain things you don't need. That's why you could run a test. How many people spend $200-300 every month, every couple of months on vitamins? I was like, you could run a $200 test and it could tell you if you need that or not. And you're not damaging your kidneys and liver and all that stuff.
Or spending that amount at a club, a nightclub, not a Sam's Club, not a Costco card club, at a nightclub, and they'll just spend it just because they're having a good time, but yet they still have borderline issues that they don't want to address.
And we don't want people just throwing supplements at the problem, right? You got to target what really matters. And at Mindful Objective, we run these kind of functional labs all the time. We check your vitamin D, zinc, magnesium, B vitamins, and even your gut function. What about heavy metals? Well, we do that also. And for parents who are concerned about cost, remember my motto. If you can't afford to be healthy, you really can't afford to be sick.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, the goal's simple. Know your baseline, build from there, and give your immune system exactly what it needs. That's how you stop playing catch up and start building resilience ahead of time. I know we covered a good amount in this episode, so I know we should probably wrap things up. But one last thing I want to say is not only we're here for longevity, right? We want to have healthy, pain-free lifestyle until we age and age. And let's go back to those Bible years of living till we're 300, 600, 900 years old. But even living to 100, 90, 100, 110, you don't want to be just, oh, you live till 75, but you're in severe pain. What's the point in living at that point?
Absolutely.
So that's why it's just start taking care of yourselves. But not only that, you need to do this for your kids. And I don't think people really grasp that concept. They just think, I'm fine, whatever. But people don't realize it's once you start aging, it goes by quickly. Start doing martial arts at 20, then go to start doing martial arts at 40. Start doing yoga, even and feel how you feel 30s, 40s, 50s. And then you'll compare it to when you're younger. But you think now's the time. You're learning all this. How do I get my kids healthy so they don't grow up the same way we do? We want to get in that positive mindset for them. And we want to be here for them to help take care of them. Even when they're older, we just want to enjoy life. And again, we don't force preserve and stuff to the park with our kids now. How could you do that when you're 60? You know, that's what you want to get. But how many people are 50s, 60s, and they can't even walk? Their poor kids are just sitting around or other people are raising them. So that's unfortunate for those that have car accidents, stuff like that, and you can't help it. But the other side of us that can take action.
Absolutely. And honestly, no one likes to be sick. And all this is good, free information that everyone can use. Be sure to visit mindfulobjective.com and feel free to email us if you have any questions.
Faux show. So that wraps up this episode of Real Talk. No, we are just that website click or email away for support. And remember the 4 supplement foundations, vitamin D3 with K2, zinc, vitamin C, and daily vitamin are super beneficial for all. So remember, mindfulobjective.com, you could go to the website and sign up for 20% off retail on supplements. And we do have options to order labs and stuff like that too. So check out the website. And then again, you have any questions, just email.
That's one of my biggest things. Make sure if anybody's going to order supplements to order that powerhouse right there, the vitamin D with K2, zinc, vitamin C, and the daily multivitamin. But remember, this is about resilience, not perfection. Building daily habits and supporting your body constantly is what makes the difference when germs come around.
As always, this podcast for educational purposes only. It's not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always check with your healthcare provider before making any changes for yourself or your children. So thanks for joining us on Real Talk. Until next time, stay consistent, stay well, stay healthy, and keep the conversation going.